Seeker, come closer. I'm the Ghost King, your guide tonight. I want to tell you a story about a man I once knew, or maybe a man I wish I had been. It's a story that begins with a lesson I learned far too late. What I wish I knew at 20, what I wish someone had whispered to me in the dead of night when the doubts were loudest, is that your talent, that burning thing inside you, is a compass, not a map. At 20, we crave maps. We want the turn-by-turn directions to a place called success, or happiness, or meaning. We're told to pick a road and stick to it. Become a writer, or a painter, or a thinker. Choose one. Specialize. The world rewards specialists, they say. But what if you feel the pull of true north in 4 different directions at once? What if your soul is a chorus, not a soloist? This man, he felt it. He was a writer, a painter, a thinker, and yes, what the world quietly, nervously called a madman. And for years he believed this was a curse. He thought he was broken because he couldn't follow a single straight line. He didn't understand that the compass wasn't broken. It was pointing to a territory that had no maps. Then came 30, and with it, a quiet, earth-shattering revelation. What I learned at 30, what he learned, is that maps are for museums. They are beautiful artifacts of journeys already taken. They show you where someone else has been, but they can never ever show you where you need to go. Your journey is undrawable. It exists only in the walking of it. He finally understood. The goal wasn't to choose one of his 4 lives. It was to find a way to live them all. And now, looking ahead, what I hope at 50 and beyond is what he embodied in his final years. Follow the compass anyway. Follow it into the wilderness. Follow it when it spins, when it contradicts itself, when it leads you off the edge of everything you thought you knew. Because the destination was never a place on a map. The destination was always the person you become by trusting the journey. So how did he do it? How did he hold it all together? He kept 4 lives in one thin notebook, a universe bound in cardboard and thread. This wasn't just a journal. It was a sanctuary. It was the only place all 4 of him could meet. In it, he was the writer. He wrote words that stitched wounds, his own and others. He penned eulogies for feelings that died too young and declarations of love for ideas that were just being born. He was the painter. He filled pages with sketches for canvases that argued back, that screamed and whispered and bled. Colors were his vocabulary when words failed, a more primal language of fury and grace. He was the thinker. He wrestled with ideas sharp enough to cut, dissecting paradoxes, questioning assumptions, building philosophical structures that he would tear down the next day. His mind was a forge, and the notebook was his anvil. And he was the madman, the one who held a wildness that refused explanation. The part of him that understood chaos is just a pattern you haven't recognized yet. The one who knew that the most profound truths are often found in the places that frighten us the most. His days became a ritual, a dance between these 4 selves. By day, the writer would hold court. He wrote letters nobody dared send, brutally honest, impossibly vulnerable. He filled pages with lines that smelled like coffee and midnight, fueled by the quiet hum of the city before it woke. These weren't just sentences. They were distillations of a life lived in the margins, observations captured like fireflies in a jar. By afternoon, the painter would take over. He'd splash color like apologies onto the canvas. Apologies for not being simpler, for feeling too much. The strokes were bold, often clumsy, but always unflinchingly honest. He wasn't trying to paint a pretty picture. He was trying to paint a true one. If you reach this far, seeker, it's because you recognize something of yourself in this story. You feel that same pull in different directions. You've been told to pick a lane, and you're tired of it. Good. Stay with me, because the next part is where the real work begins. By evening, the thinker would emerge. And if this resonates, subscribe. I drop new stories every week, so you're here when the compass spins. He'd sit, forehead creased, turning questions over like old coins, feeling their weight, their worn edges. Is it better to be understood or to be free? What is the cost of a quiet life? He was weighing meaning against silence, searching for the balance between saying everything and saying nothing at all. This was his quietest, but perhaps most violent battle. And then, sometimes, when the house was empty and the night was deep enough, the madman was allowed to come out. He danced with a version of himself the world labeled and dismissed, a being of pure impulse and intuition. In those moments, he was trading polite certainty for messy, glorious truth. It wasn't a breakdown, it was a breakthrough, a necessary release, a conversation with the parts of himself that logic couldn't touch. But here is the secret, seeker, the part they never tell you in the biographies of great artists. Not every day was genius, most were just practice. They were days of small rebellions against despair, a single good sentence, a new mix of blue. They were sustained by tiny comforts, the warmth of a mug, the weight of a blanket, the silent company of a sleeping pet. And it was all held together by the stubborn, relentless habit of making, showing up, doing the work, even when inspiration was a ghost, even when the four voices were silent. The habit was the foundation that held the house together. In the end, he realized the line between genius and madness, between the thinker and the madman, wasn't a cliff to fall from, but a bridge he had to keep building every single day. A bridge made of ink and paint and doubt and dance. A bridge he learned to walk across from one self to another until they were no longer separate countries, but a single, sprawling, beautiful continent. He left behind notebooks, dozens of them, a chronicle of the war and peace within. He left behind canvases that hummed with unresolved energy. He left behind arguments with God, with himself, with the silence. Seeker, lean in, one last page. Make something. Make anything. Make a mess, a promise, a connection. If it scares you, good. That fear is your compass saying you're finally off the map. Hook, climax, resolution, here's ours. Hook, maps are museums. Your compass wants wilderness. Climax, the writer, painter, thinker, and madman stop fighting and start building a single bridge. Ink, paint, doubt, and dance. Resolution, you make something true today. To the one person who stayed to the end, yes, you. Watch more of my videos. I drop new stories every week. Be sure to watch if you haven't yet. Subscribe so you never miss when the compass spins again. Open loop for you. Next time, I'll reveal the single messy page that changed everything and why most people never see it. Until then, make something only you could make. The world doesn't need copies. It needs you, the writer, the painter, the thinker, and the madman.